Hello, everybody. I am here with my client, Susie. She joined just for our 90-day program. So for 30 days, I'm sorry, for 90 days, 3 months of training one-on-one. She's awesome. She stuck really well with the program. She showed great traits that led her to the success that she's going to be sharing today. And it was just a joy to work with her. So Susie, why don't you just go ahead and share with people, why you joined the program and got started working with us.
Well, first I'll say, as a woman over 50, um, as I was aware that my metabolism is slower than what it used to be,
Mhm.
and I was having a hard time losing weight and getting to where I wanted to as far as my physical health goes, as far as, muscle tone and such. And also, um, I had, arthritis and back problems. So I wasn't sure what I was doing was safe for me anymore. And I wasn't sure, what to do about it or how to go about figuring out what, exercises were good for me to support my back problems and my arthritis. And so that's one reason that I sought you, because, obviously spoke to my cousins who are, our family,
Mhm.
and they recommended you. And just seeing your physical fitness, that's actually a motivator for me to say, you know what, he's walking the talk. So I, you know, I, that's what I like to see. I like to see that my trainer is living the life that he's teaching. And
Okay.
so that was one of the main things that made me want to work with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even like prior, right? Like we were always talking like online, on like social media, messaging back and forth. Um, staying connected and really seeing that, I was th- giving you free like stuff, right? Like resources and things like that were gonna help support you on your goal, right? Um,
Mhm.
and I think that uh, coming in, there was a lot of trust with each other, right? That really helped because I think that's one of the most important qualities traits to have when you're working with a coach, especially like online. Um, so before we started, like, what was your biggest fear when working with like an online coach, or like say you didn't know me, right? Like, what were some hesitancies like before we got started?
Um, well, I really didn't have a hesitancy, just because I do really well with online stuff anyway.
Okay.
I liked the convenience of it. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really worry about it. And also because I knew that you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have any hesitancy in that sense. And I guess the only thing I could maybe say is, um, I mean, maybe that I would not be doing my form right, but then you provided videos, so that eliminated that fear,
Yeah.
right? So I had something to look at. And
Yeah.
sometimes because it was hard for me, sometimes I'm not coordinated. So just I would keep the video going while I'm doing it, so that if I needed to adjust something as I'm watching, and also looking in the mirror, I could see if I'm doing what the video is showing. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was pretty much it, you
Yeah.
know.
Love
So
it, love it. And that right there, like having that video, having that mirror, that's so important because even when like you're an advanced lifter, right? Like you're still looking at the mirrors, you're still trying to make sure that your form is right and good. And you're not always gonna have a person right next to you telling you, fix this, fix this, fix this. So being able to have that own awareness of your body and give yourself that own feedback is super, super awesome to start to develop within yourself. Um, so when it gets to, we kind of started talking about the solutions with the hesitancies, like, the form and stuff like that. What were some solutions, right, that you learned while you were going through these last 90 days. So, I mean, from, what problems did we kind of like solve and help you with?
Well, like the back issues, I mean, you customized my program to so that we don't worsen it, but strengthen the areas around it that I needed to strengthen. I haven't had any back problems since. I mean, there was something that came up, but that was because of, work, not because of what I was doing with you.
Hmm.
But then you adjusted things for me, and that did it. I haven't had problems since. So, um, those are basically the things that, I really appreciated, is that you really listened to me. You asked a lot of questions to help me pinpoint what we needed to do and what we needed to avoid. And I think that pretty much solved that concern that I had, I think,
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah, 100%. So many people go through like their life with pains and injuries that never get resolved, and they think, how can I, continue doing what I'm doing while experiencing like this pain for as long as I can endure it, never trying to fix the problem, right? Um,
Exactly.
and so coming in and being able just to focus on improving that aspect of your fitness, just so that it can open the doors for so many other areas of fitness that now you can start to tap into.
Right.
What about nutrition wise?
Well, definitely learned what I wasn't getting enough of. I mean, I kind of knew because obviously we had blood work done,
Yeah, yeah.
but I didn't realize how much it takes to get the sufficient amount of nutrition.
Hmm.
I knew from, past what I needed to cut out, but I didn't know, what amounts I needed to get to where I need to get, you know,
Yeah,
physically speaking. So, and um, I can say too that I believe working out has definitely improved my sleep. The only thing that, interferes with my sleep is that I go to bed late. So, but once I go to bed, I sleep really good, So, and I think it has a lot to do with that, you know,
yeah,
the workouts and everything. So,
absolutely, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Um, and kind of something that we also like talked about prior a lot was importance of like certain nutrients, like you were saying, right?
Mhm,
The portion size. Um, I know that you're also like somebody who's like pretty social, right? Like
mhm,
you guys you like to go out to eat, you like to hang out with your your family, your friends, go to events together, and really enjoy like that social community, right? Um,
mhm.
what'd you learn that helps you manage those situations?
Well, getting on the routine of the planning the meals makes you more not just conscious but conscientious,
Mm,
right?
mm,
It makes you really think about, do I really want to eat this? And do I am I doing it because I want it? Am I doing it because everybody else is having it? So it really makes you think about your choices now, because you get on this mindset. It's like it's a habit now, right?
yeah.
So I can't help but think, I know if I eat this candy bar, you know,
Hmm.
versus, some fruit or something,
Yeah.
what that means, right?
Yeah.
Where before I never thought about, I can have it, without thinking about everything else,
Yeah.
right? So I definitely think about what I'm eating more than what I used to, for sure.
Perfect. And
I
and,
mean,
and
I was always aware of it, but it didn't mean so much to me as it does now.
right,
You
right. Um, and, and
know?
and that aspect of it is like if I'm never aware, right? Or I'm aware, but I'm not super conscientious about, tracking my calories, having a plan, you know, I can go these next 5 years and gain, weight and end up in a position where I'm like, all right, what am I? I'm here now. Like, what do I do about this? Right? How did I get here? Um,
Right.
and I think like too, like one of the struggles that we kind of talked about, like you were, but before we started working together, you were trying to lose weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And hit a little bit of a plateau after a while,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just making that one small change, right? Where you were planning, you were making smart choices when it came around food. You started to track your calories more diligently, started to increase your protein intake, get more hydrated, and you started to see results, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
talk to us a little bit about
Exactly.
that. What results did you get? If you
Um, I, I, I saw a change in, um, the way that my body is. I wasn't losing weight fast, but what I was seeing is the tone and definition. So, we talk about struggle. Well, I was struggling with being impatient. We want results fast, right? But,
yeah,
realizing and accepting the fact that it everything takes time, but also it develops the habit. And then when I started seeing, okay, I may not be losing the weight, but my visual of my body was great. I was like, wow, that's me,
yeah,
and, my core, which is the most difficult part, is like, I haven't felt this good about it in a long time.
love it.
My legs, I love my legs. There's still some work that I need to do, but that's what I noticed, with doing the different things that go into this, the dieting, the exercise, and being patient, and you see the results, and it may not be in the numbers, but it definitely was in the physical,
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And so many people get caught up. Like you were already always working out, right? Like you were already
Yes,
super active. You were getting
yes.
your steps in. You were going to the gym, and the scale dropped for like what, like 7 pounds, 8 pounds, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
when we got started, but you already had lost some weight prior to that, right?
yeah.
Um, and so when we get to that point, right, it's like you have muscle on your body. You know what I mean? Like you're a taller individual also. So it's like, how much weight do you really need to lose, or is it
Right.
more of how much patience do we need, and how much time do we need to
Yeah.
allow, the fat to burn off, the inflammation to go down in the body, so that we can start to see the results that we want. It's not necessarily the scale or a number, but more of how our body feels and how we perceive our body and how it looks, right? So many people get caught up on the scale, but really, if it was reflective, then if our body reflected what we wanted to see, then we would be fine if it was more than that,
Right.
right? Or
Right. Right.
so
Right.
that's great. I'm really glad that you got that part, and started to see those results. So let's say you have somebody, um, let's say you have somebody who is on the fence. They're like, "Oh, I want to work with Maurice, but I don't want to get into getting with the coach yet. I'm kind of hesitant." They're on the fence.
Hmm.
You tell them to try to influence them to come. Like, he's safe. He will help you. What would you say to influence them to come work with somebody like me?
Well, I basically would share, what my experience has been. I think about the things that I was complaining about, and then it's like, well, if I'm not doing it on my own, then maybe having somebody guide me and be there for me will give me that extra motivation. Not only that, but also teach me how to do things correctly, right?
Mm,
And, we can diet all we want, but if we don't, like what you taught, is to, have the meal plan, right? To me, that helps build, the routine of it, so it's not hard, because
mhm,
you start to remember
mhm,
without having to look at that, right? That this is what I need to eat for breakfast, this is what I need to eat for lunch. And so, just being able to have someone that will constantly guide you and be there for you, and, help you make adjustments when needed, tailoring it to your needs, like, talking about mothers. Mothers are so busy, they have full-time jobs, They come home, they have to help their kids with their homework, take them to their little events, Pee Wee League, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And then of course, they say, I don't have time,
Yeah.
and then I figured this virtual thing, well, it's great because you schedule it with that person based on their needs. And so that to me is like priceless, to be able to do that. And that's when I said I like the online thing. I did most of my education online because that's what worked with my lifestyle and
Gotcha.
my schedule.
Hmm.
And it worked great for me, and I think that for busy people, this is a great solution, so
Thank you, Susie, for sharing your experience.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing, taking the time um, to come here and share your story. Super impactful. I hope people can relate to it and take action after watching this, right? And if anybody here is looking to see results similar, want to improve, your body, want to improve your function, want to improve your health, right? Feel free to reach out and send me a DM, and go ahead and have a great rest of your day. All right.